Hey everyone, I wanted to show off a new technique with tactile drawing that I just kind of came up with. So a long time ago I sketched a drawing of Death holding a pocket watch or having a pocket watch floating above his clawed hand. I scanned that in, or I'm sorry, I took the image and I just opened the original scan that I had from like 23 years ago, and I embossed it. And this is the embossed graphic that I have here on display. So Death is standing kind of on page left. There are some bony wings that are coming out of his back. He has a small skeletal head that is looking forwards. His right arm is extended out in front of him, and he has a very clawed hand. And above the hand is floating a pocket watch with a chain. And he's standing on ground. He's just in a big dark robe. Now, unfortunately, when I drew this, of course, I didn't think about tactile drawing, so there's a lot of sketchy detail, a lot of shadows, a lot of work that I did with the overall detail. So this is a very dense embossing. There's a lot of just texture everywhere, and it's really a little hard to discern. So I decided to redraw this, and I have the embossing of the original drawing here on my Sensational Blackboard, and underneath the drawing I have a sheet of blank paper. So what I'm going to do is I've lined the paper up, and I'm going to take my pen and just start sketching around with heavy strokes. I'm just kind of sketching a little bit here and there to sort of identify and point tactile holes and tactile lines where I want elements to go. So I'm basically drawing on top of a blank sheet of paper through the original embossing that I made, and I'm marking out the proportions of where my lines need to go. And when I come back to the paper underneath, I'll have tactile lines that aren't inked. And I'm just quickly kind of going through, dragging my pen along the tactile embossing lines here so I can feel where I really want these to go. Coming up, marking out like where his head is, where his shoulder is. Coming out, I want to feel how far his hand extends, so I'm drawing quick lines around there, and then I can just kind of guesstimate where that is ultimately going to go for the pocket watch. But essentially, I've just drawn lines straight through this paper. I'm going to mark down the horizon line. Okay. Now I'm going to lift the sheet of paper, take my embossing off, and now I can feel tactile markings on the paper here, the blank sheet of paper, and I can start drawing. So I can start off by feeling where his wings are, where his body is, and start off with his head. So I can start drawing more of like a skeletal head. I can make it a little larger than I did in my original drawing, just so folks can feel it a little easier. And so making like some eye sockets, making kind of a grinning mouth, a little smaller, but you know, you'll get the idea. I'm going to do and feel where his wings are supposed to be placed and feel where his body is supposed to be placed here. Okay, so I got his body, and now I'm going to draw down and make an arc of the shoulder. And now I'm going to draw some wings. I'm going to come up and out and over towards the left, and I'm going to kind of make a jagged edge to make some jagged wings. I'm making them a lot larger than they were in my original drawing. So they're just sort of jagged wings hanging out behind him. So they've arced up and over, and now I'm going to bring his shoulder and back to where his wing meets his shoulder. I'm going to bring that backwards for his back shoulder blades and come down and meet up where the actual back of his robe exists down the page left. So I'm coming down, I'm feeling where my pen made those marks. He's very tall and very thin. I'm going to flare out his robe at the bottom. I'm going to draw a quick horizon line. So I'm etching across the paper. And now I can come back up and connect his wings. So his wings are coming out of his shoulder, and I can just draw a very quick, bony idea of where his wings are coming out. Okay. And again, I'm trying my best to not have as much detail. I'm only trying to have good outlines so this can scan and emboss really well so I can reproduce this for folks and have this ready for like a little art exhibit. So I'm coming back down his right side in front of his body. He's facing to the right, and so I'm just kind of flaring out his robe. It's kind of touching the ground. I'm adding a bunch of texture around the bottom of the robe. I'm going to add some lines to suggest its fabriciness. I'm going to come back up. Now I'm feeling where his arm extends out. So here's his head. I'm feeling his head. I'm feeling where the front of his chest meets his arm. I'm feeling where I drew, where his finger is, where his arm ends. I am going to take some artistic liberty again and come back from his shoulder and come down out along where his arm should be, and then make a big robe sleeve. So a sleeve is now hanging down. I just dropped it straight down. I'm kind of coming back up with some more folds just following along with his arm from the original tactile line that I made. Now I've made a nice robe arm, and I can come back from this robe arm and make a bony arm, so just some bones extending outwards for his forearm, reaching to his wrist. So I'm making 2 lines for like the radius, 1 line for the ulna here. Maybe I'll add more detail there. Come back in, there we go. So now we have a bony arm, and I'm going to make a claw. So his thumb is pointed. Let's see, where is his... These came out here. So yeah, now I'm kind of making a suggestion of the hand. It's the ball here, the ball of the thumb. I'm going to come up and make a pinky finger, ring claw, and then just make more claws just sort of sticking up and outwards in this profile view. So people can feel that there are claws here. Now above that, again, I'm going to make some artistic liberty, make this a little larger. I'm going to make a large clock face. So I'm going to do a kind of an oval because the clock is facing, it's kind of oblique. So I'm going to add some hands in here. I'm going to make a little oblique oval that goes around the outside, the body of the clock. I'm going to make a little turn screw at the very top. And now I'm going to make a chain. I'm just going to do circle my pen, circle, 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 just making continuous circles to sort of make a textural pocket watch chain. And that's basically it. So now I have a good representation of the drawing that I originally made in a tactile sense. I'm going to come up here to the very top right corner and do 2 slashes to indicate that is the top part of the drawing, top right of the drawing. I'm going to come back and follow all my lines, and I'm going to really thicken them up. So I'm moving my pen back and forth. I'm feeling with my free hand along the lines here. I make sure that I get everything. The thicker this line is, the thicker it will emboss, and it'll be easier to feel. And it'll be different than other lines that I can use for a little bit more detail. And come back here, thicken up the overall line that makes his robe, coming around his back, coming around his feet. I'm going to make sure that his arm kind of extends into his robe. Add some texture lines a little bit here and there. I'm going to come back and really bolster his wings. I want people to really feel that. So the thicker these are, the easier these are going to feel. They're very ragged, sharp wings. And I'm going to come back around and just make sure that his skeletal face, we can feel the eye socket. We feel the zygomatic arch a little bit, ear hole, and leave it pretty much as is. I just want to put as much detail into there. It's a suggestion of a skeletal head. It's a suggestion of like a really nice robe that he's wearing. This more dark tattered robe here. And that's basically how we do a tactile drawing. Starting from a scan of a drawing that I made 23 years ago, pressed her into the paper to feel underneath, and redrew the whole thing, ready to scan, ready to emboss on paper. So hope you enjoyed.